I am starting to have a little bit of a war with Great Britain. So I was able to penetrate these provinces and basically mess him up a little bit. He was bringing like a stack from here all the way here, and I think it just cleared Stockholm. And it has like 200 damage, it has some cavalry, some armored cars, and it really has very high HP, and it also has high percentage HP. And I think that's one of the things that I didn't realize up until now. The province morale influences how much your units regenerate. You see, all my units here are like 50% HP because I never played around with that, because in Call of War it doesn't matter as long as they are on an allied province. My units are half HP, his units are full HP, so I'm gonna get crushed. I'm gonna do like this tactical retreat here. The only thing that I didn't expect here is that this country is gonna counterattack me with this massive stack. I kinda expected them to attack me like this, with like small units. But like sending a 23 stack, that is a little bit bullshit. I really think that's a little bit bullshit. That's super unexpected and I didn't really plan for that. I have to be honest, I'm losing here, which is fine. It's my first game. I'm playing against somebody who's experienced. Where should I build my defensive line, or should I even build a defensive line? Maybe you can argue that I should skip the fortresses. But the question is, if I fortify St. Petersburg and like this or this, I'm basically giving away all of this territory. He really seems to be able to pump out a lot of units. I'm not really sure how he's doing it. If we would be in a public game, I would totally assume that he's using cards. I think I could already do so much of a better job in my second game than my first game. Like, I immediately know that I'm putting my production at double resource. I immediately know to conquer the nearest double resource, no matter what resource it is. I know to target the big countries. I know to put my units on the high morale provinces on day change. There's so many things that I've already learned that would make my game go significantly better. The other thing that is gonna be important, my teammates told me that I should plan to make factories in my double resource provinces, and I think that's a good call. So right now I'm kind of prioritizing building more armored cars so I can stay alive, so I don't have to give up all of Finland. And then there's a bunch of things, and you know, at the start of the game I really didn't know what was going on, but I think I'm understanding it much more now. So I think Germany made a big mistake, and the mistake was that he was doing a bunch of things at the same time. You know, Germany wasn't committing into a playstyle, he was doing everything at the same time. What do I mean? You know, he was playing defensively, he was making fortresses, he was playing offensively, rushing, he was playing defensively, spreading out like 10 units to scout, spreading like 10 units on his coast, and then he was not playing economically by building railways. He was not playing economically by capturing AI territory, and then they rushed and it didn't work. He built a lot of production. It's like, I don't think the way he played made a lot of sense looking back on it. You know, looking at how it turned out, making the 4 workshops to rush, to get like out 2 more armored cars a little sooner, I think it was not worth it. Because like 2 armored cars, they don't really give you that much. They don't swing the battle in your favor. But the amount you have to pay for them to like get those 2 armored cars is quite significant. So it was a little bit of a high risk, low reward move that he did. And also I think, like, if you look at these infantry guarding, I mean, I think these are kind of wasted. You could have 1 here to really make sure that you see everything, but you should be making use of all the other units to have higher efficiency. And he was taking a battle here where he lost like 5 units, I think if he would have had like more of these coastal units here, then he would have lost less. And it's like, it's just about efficiency. And he's spreading out a lot. And some of this is good, but I think he's overdoing it a little bit. And also, you know, I am doing one thing that I'm kind of proud of myself for doing it, and that is to use the stock market a lot. There's this big imbalance here with energy resources. We have a lot of, like, this is 20k coal that is between 3.1 and 3.3. This is insanely cheap coal, and this is quite expensive oil. And we're not talking about 500, like these are big numbers. So if you just buy the coal, like if you have your resource production set up in a way that you just use up coal for your own energy, and then you produce oil for selling it on the stock market, you know, for every unit you basically produce, you get 6 gold in the 6 money in this difference. It's basic economy. So I'm using this trick to make a lot of money, and then I can use that to like buy food whenever, like wood for whenever it's cheap for like 6. And meanwhile, I produce a lot of steel, and that's the way I'm able to get out all of my railways. However, I think Germany is also not doing that, and Austria is not doing that either. They have a very balanced energy spread where they use up every energy equally, but I think it really makes no sense under these circumstances. Oil is just so much more precious than coal. I really don't understand how this is supposed to be like. I feel like if in a game with a lot of good players, everybody would be doing what I'm doing, which would then naturally increase the price of coal and reduce the price of oil, and supply and demand would shift each other out. Like all of these resources should be roughly the same price because you can substitute them with each other. Yeah, I think that's just economics 101. If you look at my teammates, I think Squid is doing it very much like me. He has like, I think already like 5. That's 3, 4. I think he has 5 economy buildings. And I think at this point I have 4. But the thing also is, I'm not sure about how good the factories even are. Let's look at the factory. So the factory gives us 8% resource production, which, to be honest, does not sound that high. We also have here unit production speed bonus. And I don't know if that works, like if that influences the recruitment speed. I don't think it does, right? Let's look here. Recruitment. I think the barracks recruitment and the unit production are 2 different things. I think I want to build a factory anyways, because of course I want to build artillery. And because I kind of messed it up, right, with making my workshops in the wrong provinces, I would kind of also need to build new workshops, which I think is fine. I want to build a new workshop anyways, because the 2 don't seem to be enough production at this point. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Like there is decisions in this game that are slightly different than Call of War. It's more economic decisions than fighting decisions and army comp decisions. Like the army comp here is very straightforward. Everybody makes armored cars, everybody makes cavalry, everybody makes their normal infantry, because of course they do. And it really doesn't make that much difference whether you make armored cars or cavalry. It's just more like, oh, one is the defensive, one is the offensive. So it really doesn't make a difference. Most people make both. So I wonder if that's going to change as well, because when there does become the possibility to make like planes, tanks, and artillery, whether there's going to be more variety in the different builds, we will see. So I think his big stack is here, which is good for me, because it's gonna take him a while to get up here, which does make me think maybe I should come up here and take it back. The only thing I'm worried about is that like he might be able to catch my stack out in the open, which I don't want to happen. I could maybe build a fort here. That might not be too bad. It's double steel, so that's a high value province. And he would need to go all the way around here to bypass it. which gives me time to reinforce. So I am retreating from Sweden, and I think I will get out just fine. And you know, I really didn't know that also if you are on low morale provinces, you not just not gain health, you also lose health. It would have been really useful to know that earlier, because I think that's a big reason why I am in this position with all like half HP units fighting against full HP units. However, it's also good because he will push forward, and actually his units are already losing HP on the day changes. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of interesting. I still haven't got any forts out. I'm still low on steel. We have this stack of the UK that's gonna go somewhere, and I don't really know where it's gonna go. I wonder if it's gonna go through the street here and land somewhere here. That might be quite painful. In that scenario, I would really appreciate Ukraine to start making his way to the north and for him to help me, because I also don't think it's a viable strategy to just layer forts everywhere, and I also kind of don't really want to do that. So we saw that the Ottoman player basically was getting ready to invade North Africa, but then took all his units away last second and moved them to the north. And I think there's two reasons for this. One reason is maybe now, you know, it makes more sense because he wants to regenerate his army, and for that it actually makes sense to, you know, move around in your territory and go from left to right. And that's something very counterintuitive, right? We don't really do that in Call of War. That seems like bad practice. That we want to do exactly opposite. But here it kind of makes sense because you need to do it anyways to regenerate your army. And the second part is that we saw the East Libya player lose his capital. So if we look at his territory, it's all low morale. And if you remember what Squid said, is that you need a rough around 75% morale for your provinces to even just break even. So he's just deep in minus. And I've never seen this like happen in real time, but I think Supremacy does have something called the death spiral, which means if your economy is too red, you can't build stuff and everything just keeps getting worse and worse. You know, if you have low morale, I think you just die, and there's probably no way to recover and get out of the spiral unless you have massive support from your teammates. And I don't know if their teammates want to feed a bunch of resources to East Libya. And also I really wonder how it would work with rebuilding the capital, because the capital takes like 3 days. I mean, this is a half. It would take him around 3 days. It's the same morale. 3 days is a lot. And then he's not gonna get all of his morale back immediately, right? It's probably gonna take some time too. So he's really vulnerable. He's basically out of the game for a long time and not being able to do anything, just with the one blunder of losing his capital. And I guess in addition to losing his capital, he lost like a bunch of units and didn't trade too well. I mean, if he could take Cairo, that would be good for him, that he can gain some popularity, some morale back. And with Austria is just clearing up. Ukraine, I already said, I would really like Ukraine to start clearing this and make his way north so that then he can help me easier. Really, it's gonna be interesting what this deck does. Because, of course, it will come to my shore. Almost guaranteed. But the question is, does he land here and go all the way here? Does he go through here and land here? Does he land directly here and does he keep pushing here? Or does he land here? I don't know. The question is, do I build forts, and if yes, how many? Before I was thinking, okay, do I build forts early? And then I thought, no, I do think a third workshop with a third armor car in production is better. Overall, I think that's better than a bunch of level 1 forts, and it's more affordable. Because I think he will always, like, to make it really airtight, I would need this, this, and this with forts. And that's like 8k steel and a lot of money. And then I first need to conquer it and hope that he doesn't catch me while they're building. I don't know. I think this is just very risky. And I don't know the game enough, I guess, to really know. Is he gonna be here knocking at my capital in like 10 hours? Or is it gonna take him way longer? And is he gonna be grinded apart by the morale? Because I guess like the next day change, this is gonna be like 750 to stack, right? And meanwhile, this stack is gonna be like 900. So I think it should be fine. Yeah, and I still think I'm doing good here. If you look at my KD, even though at the start I wasn't really doing good, I'm trading very, very efficiently here. So I think I'm doing actually really, really good. If I can keep clearing this, maybe get the capitals, while also not losing my front, that would be great. And then like he's gonna be forced to retreat, right? If he comes here, sees I have 2 strong armies, then he can't just keep hanging out here because he will be in low morale, which means he needs to go back, which then I can take some of the territory back, right? I feel like that's how it would work. And then Finland kind of becomes this battlefield. If we assume East Libya is out of the game, and then we also look at Italy, who is still on his 10 provinces. France is also on his 10 provinces. Meanwhile, we do have Germany on like 12 provinces and Austria on 21 provinces. I think our team is in a very, very good position in the case that I don't lose. So, but at the same time, I have like this ego thing where I don't want to play in this cowardly way. Even though I know all I have to do is defend and it's fine because I'm a weak player against a good player. So if I go even, I basically also do my job. I still kind of want to try and actually win. I'm not sure if that means I'm kind of risking my whole team with this feeling. Like if making forts would be a reliable solution, I would. It's a little messy, right? I do think after this railway, I want the fortress in my capital. But apart from that, I'm not so sure. Because even if we assume that his army is gonna bypass me and go around, he's still gonna get attritioned by the morale, right? And if that means he's gonna lose all of his army, wouldn't that still be a win then? And I don't know.